Hey there! Today's tutorial is a fembend Doctor Strange based off this poster. As y'all saw in the intro, I struggled major with this, so unfortunately the image you came here to see was healthfully enhanced with Photoshop and comes sans tutorial. I had to rush the end of this tutorial as we needed to leave the house, but I can teach you this face, painting on the costume, and the hand on my face. So let's get to it. First off, I am tanner than usual and there was no reason for this. Now we gotta get Cumberbatched, and by that I mean we gotta sculpt out some epic cheekbones. That's the real illusion here in this makeup. Forget the hand thing, look at my cheekbones. Look at how concave they are. So first, using concealer, I highlight the high points of my face and then blend out. Then I go ham in the contouring. Use a cool shade that matches the shadows you see on your skin. And if you are not blessed with godly cheekbones, just draw this shadow pretty much on your own cheekbones. Really make this contouring higher and darker than you normally do. And blend it out so you don't look too crazy. Then I set this all with powder. Now the rest of the makeup isn't really Doctor Strange, so intensive speed run since we have a lot to go through for the costume. Basically I do my brows, run mascara through them for extra brow definition, do a brown smoky eye to lift my eyes and make them look bigger, and use lots of transitions to make them extra smoky, and then at the end I clean up the front with concealer to make my eyes seem way bigger. Then I add some big winged liner, fill my lips with Clarity Cosmetics Kylie, and I wanted some volume in my hair and Doctor Strange's white streaks, but this made me look a little like Lady Frankenstein, so I just put my hair in a bun. Then I added shadow lashes in Starri Nite and Diamond Girl highlight from House of Beauty, and boom, face done. Now, it's going to be hard to explain what I am doing for the chest, so let's get some help with a reference photo. First, I outline the inner blue shirt's collar, then the outer edges of the cape and the gold clips. Then I fill in the cape, checking with my paper collar that it will fit, and then I outline the gold necklace. Then I fill in the rest of the shirt blue. And I do one side off camera. Now first we are going to outline the rims of the cape with dark red, then add texture to a section of the cape, first by colour matching with a lighter wash of colour, then with a bunch of dots, and then a bunch of squiggles like the lace in the Evanora tutorial. Then I add some of the gold edge embossing and enhance those edges with black like they are a sewed seam. Then I added this pattern that you see in the reference photo. It's kind of like a wavy line of stitches with sun patterns in between. Then I fill in the undershirt with black. And with that on the brush, I add some shadows to the folds of the fabric and then shading between the cape and the shirt. And you can see my dress peeking up here. I then diffuse out these shadows with black eyeshadow. Then we can highlight with light blue. I generally blend out these highlights with my finger or the brush. Now while I do that, I want to say that if you want to do this and go out in it, I would suggest covering your boobs, boy or girl, and then continuing the paint down to your waist, and maybe getting someone to help you do your back unless you're an epic contortionist. Or you could just make a costume, but I feel like that would cost hella mun-muns. Now the gold braces. I outline their sections with light yellow, fill in the notches of the outer two sections with red, and then I let that dry, so I add grey sections to the undershirt, and of course highlight that shirt too. Back to the braces, using a golder brown I define the sections and add lots of lines to them, and then I shade between the sections with a dark brown eyeshadow, and where the brace casts a shadow on the cape and shirt. And then with a light yellow, I highlight the brace. Now I fill in the necklace chains, one side red, one side blue, and I shade on the shirt where they would cast a shadow, and then add notches in them with black and highlight with white. Necklace. I first outline the shapes with white, and then I fill in any black sections that I can see in the photo. Then using a dark gold shade I fill in some sections, alternating with black for smooth shadows. And then I fill in the rest with a lighter gold shade, again making the shapes I see in the photo. Then we add some shine with white highlights. And I think I added a little line work off camera, but now I am adding those gold string things. First outline them each with a yellow-brown shade, then highlight them with white, and then I shade wherever they overlap with each other. Now I add my cape's colour. It's just red painted card here, and I realise that the side is too bright a red, so I tone it down off camera. Now to adhere the colour, I am applying spirit gum to my skin and to the collar, waiting a bit, then putting the collar on. I put the two sides on in the same way, and I ended up clipping them behind my head to make sure that they stayed up, and this is only because I didn't have card long enough to make a full collar. Then you may want to paint the inside of your collar to match your skin. Whew, that was a long one, but if you're crazy, we can take this one more level. As I said, I hella rushed this as I needed to get gone. To start, I released the collar clip. I end up just taking these off anyway. And then I take a photo of my hand over my face so I have a reference to paint. And I painted my hand, and it's janky as fuck. I had no time, I tell us ya. So for the face hand, I hold up my hand and trace its outline with brown shadow. And I do this in 2 mirrors and the viewfinder, and it changes each time. Frickin' focal lengths. Then I outline my hand's features with that shadow, following my own hand and the reference picture I took. So I add in the fingers, the hand creases, etc. Then I highlight some of the higher points of my hand, add some fingernails, and outline the hand anywhere that the shadows are darkest with a brown paint. Then I add some white nail end things and more of the lines that I could see on my hand. And it looked janky, so I fixed it, but with the same steps as before, just different proportions. And I do add my collar back on, same way as before. Thank God, we are finally done. I don't know how helpful this tutorial will be to anyone, but hopefully you learned something, anything, even if it's just that the internet lies and that movie posters that look photoshopped are probably gonna be hard to do with makeup. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Stay strange and classy, peeps.